Hey guys, this is the Big Blue Interactive Training Camp report of New York Giants training camp. Today was the last day of training camp, and this is Mike Siegel from BBI and Cy 56, who's a large contributor to BBI. Cy, a little bit damp today.
Yep, we got rained on towards the end. That's the first time we've actually had to deal with that. So, I mean, overall, the past few weeks, we've gotten pretty fortunate with the weather. So, one day of rain, whatever.
So they weren't really in full pads today. It was just shells, and so they weren't really going at each other. And you know, just like yesterday, there was a little bit of sloppiness to practice.
Yeah, we saw a couple fumble snaps, and you know, the penalty was Geno Smith and Wayne Gallman running a lap around the field. That guy can remember doing that back in Pee Wee football.
Yep, and Johnson got to step in and take the second team reps when that happened. Mm-hmm. And actually, Johnson looked a little sharp today.
Yeah, I mean, that race for the backup quarterback keeps on going back and forth. You know, I think it's what we talked about prior to this even starting. Geno has the tools. He's got the arm. He has his days where it's just like, wow, you know, this guy has starter potential. And then he has days like today, even yesterday, where it's just a lot of his throws are off the mark. The interception against Pittsburgh, there wasn't a receiver in the area. You know, and that's kind of who Geno's been his whole career, and that's kind of what I talked about. You kind of know what you're getting with him, and it's someone that's just incredibly inconsistent. Josh Johnson might not have as much talent as Geno, but I do think you know what you're going to get when he's on the field. Yeah, so it's tough, and I think a lot of the backup quarterback battle is what happens where we don't have any access to in the film room, in the locker room. You know, because that backup quarterback needs to be almost coach-like with Eli Manning, helping them break down film, create go over game plans, and it's, you know, it's tough to know who's better in that respect when we don't have that kind of access, you know. So
yeah, and we'll learn a lot more in the next couple of preseason games too. That's, you know, it's still only one.
Yeah, no, we got plenty of time left. You know, this might have been our last training camp day, and you know, camp breaks tonight or today, but there's still 3 games to watch, and that's where you're going to make the decisions.
And as much as a lot of our posters would like to think that Davis Webb is going to be the backup quarterback, I don't think the Giants are interested in that.
I don't think there's any shot. You know, I would even say if Geno and Johnson were to both get hurt, they'd go and sign another veteran. I think their plan for Davis Webb is very strictly this year: learn the system. You know, make sure your footwork is you know, you're as comfortable with your feet as you are your hands, and be ready to rock next year as the team's backup and maybe the team's starter 2-3 years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the reps he's getting, which they're calling opportunity reps,
right. And
it's not even full team out there.
No full team, very limited amount of reps too. I mean, he's probably getting a fourth of the volume of reps that those two guys are getting. So,
right. So, in addition to the quarterback, I know we're all concerned about the offensive line.
Yeah, it's probably the one. It's the one concern we had prior to training camp, and it's still the main concern. And you know, the positive is that you have young players that are still learning the game, and they're still learning how to play together. And if we can remember back to we're standing under the Super Bowl banners here, there wasn't a ton of talent on those offensive lines. They were good, but they weren't the best at the position in the NFL, but they played really well together because they had a lot of chemistry. They played a lot together, and I think offensive lines at any level, high school, college, the NFL, the more you play together, the better your unit will be. So, you know, I don't think there's any point in even considering turning it over at all this year. You're going to sink or swim with what you have. There is talent, and there is upside left in the tank. Right. And, you know, patience is hard to come by in the NFL. It's even harder to come by in New York.
Well, it's also too soon to panic, you know, this early in the season while we still have only gone through one scrimmage.
Yeah, there's no panic buttons being pressed, and it's you know, the reports that we've given on the offensive line have probably been more negative than positive. But again, it's not even September yet, and this team was a playoff team last year with this offensive line. Let's not forget that. So let's see what happens.
Well, the worry stems from what the past has brought. Have not seen great performances out of the offensive line in the last few years. But one thing we did notice in terms of technique improving in like the 2 tackles, you know, there was a dramatic difference between Eric Flowers and Bobby Hart at the beginning of training camp and at the end of training camp.
Yeah, and that's what we see with young players. And if Flowers and Hart can prove to be coachable and prove to want to work on the details, then I think you have something to work with for the next 4 or 5 years. But that's going to be on them. As of right now, I would say they are not a good enough pair of tackles to sustain success in the NFL. Do they have the talent? Do they have the upside? It's still there. But the amount that they need to work, I mean, it's got to be countless hours, and it's got to be just an obsession with the attention to detail. And do they have that? Do they want that? That's going to be on them.
Well, we're all hoping they get it.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
That's what we got to hope for.
100%.
The alternative is unacceptable.
Yes. The alternative is the 2018 draft class.
Yeah. And Calvin Munson got a chance to step in today into the first team and take some reps.
Yeah. I mean, Munson, undrafted free agent at San Diego State, played a lot on the edge. We talked to him about that. You guys will see that in an interview right after this. This isn't a new role for him, but it is new to be in between the tackles for an entire game, if you were to ever play a game. And he even admitted that it was very hard for him to learn the playbook initially, but he's getting more and more comfortable. And we say this all the time about linebackers, when they can take the thinking out of the game and more of a reaction base because they know the playbook and they're understanding keys and they understand the chemistry around them, that's when you could see who is this guy. And today he made 2 excellent plays, broke through the line, and would have been tackles for loss.
And coach said some nice things about him. He said that he earned the right to take those reps.
Yeah, I mean, it's undrafted free agent. I mean, after the draft is over, where you got drafted, whether or not you're an undrafted free agent or not, who cares? It's can you produce when you get your shot on the field? And we've said training camp, the rules with the CBA, you don't get a lot of reps anymore. And when you get them, do you take advantage of them? And that he does. So I think he's in the good graces with the coaches so far.
And you could see that the coaching staff was a little concerned about the defense on the goal line today. The offense has been scoring touchdowns in the short yardage goal line plays.
Yeah, that's been the one point of consistent success of the Giants offense in training camp. They've done a very good job, I would say 10 yards and in. And it looks like there's just a lot of miscommunication going on in the secondary. And again, that's the purpose of training camp. To build chemistry, to learn from your mistakes, don't make them in games. Nothing that you need to overreact from, but one guy that stands out on a positive for me in the red zone is Janoris Jenkins. He is the one cornerback on this entire team that goes against Brandon Marshall, and for whatever reason, Janoris Jenkins thinks he's 6'5", 220 as well, because he plays Brandon Marshall as physical as anyone, and he broke up another 2 passes today that were intended for him in the end zone, and he's on his A game so far.
Coming up is an interview with Calvin Munson, which we hope you'll enjoy.
All right, what's up, guys? We're here with Calvin Munson, linebacker of the New York Giants, having a great training camp so far. Calvin, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Having a lot of fun, yeah.
Feeling good? Healthy?
Yeah, healthy.
Good. Yeah. Awesome. So from San Diego State, signed as an undrafted free agent here. Let's rewind to Friday night, the game against the Steelers. How did the live action in training camp prepare you for that game?
I mean, when we first started training camp, everything was kind of fast-paced. It was a little faster than I was used to, but I mean, just all the practice that we had done, I was pretty prepared for the game, so the game felt just like a normal practice for us.
Cool. Now, at San Diego State, I watched a lot of you out there, and a lot of times you were, lining up outside, you rushing the passers, spent a lot of time in the opposing backfield. Mm-hmm. Has the adjustment to Mike / weak side, playing in between the tackles, has that been tough to adjust to?
I wouldn't say tough. Just kind of more of the responsibilities as far like along the lines as being the mic and making certain adjustments and all the calls. Because I mean, in college we changed a lot of things, but not as much as here. So just kind of that stuff. But I mean, I would play inside in college a little bit, so I'm kind of used to it. But mostly here, I think I've adjusted all right.
Great, awesome. Yeah. Now, being the mic, there's a lot of like mental assignments. You need to know, your left, your right, your front. I mean, it's the only position on the defense where you always have someone to your right, always have someone to your left, always someone behind you, in front of you. How has that affected the play speed at all, or have you been able to pick up that pretty well?
At first, I didn't pick it up very well. A lot of the adjustments I was struggling with, making a lot of the calls. I was struggling with it, but I think I got the hang of it. I mean, I got a great group of guys around me that are helping me a lot. BJ, JC, Keenan, Mark, all those guys. So, I mean, I'm just trying to learn from them and do the best job I can.
Great. And last one here. Have you had, if you have one moment that stands out, have you had that welcome to the NFL moment yet? Just, like, holy cow, I'm here.
I would say the opening kickoff against the Steelers. I ran down. I was at L4, ran down, and then I kind of played off a block, and the returner kind of ran over me but I mean, I was in on the tackle, so that was kind of my
awesome, man.
yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, best luck to you, man.
Thank
You're
you.
doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, it's been a great ride, Si. I know we're talking about other things that we're going to bring to BBI, and we hope you all have appreciated these videos and the stories that have been coming in from training camp. And sorry to see training camp go.
Yeah, I mean, that went fast. It was a great experience. We thank the Giants for letting us come here and cover the team, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And like Mike said, we'll see what we can offer you guys during the season and during draft time.
And on behalf of Eric Kennedy and Cy 56, this is Mike Siegel from BBI saying we'll see you next time.